What's up, IG? Yes, we did it. How you guys doing? I'm here with Karma on deck. What's going on, beautiful people? I'm streaming on Instagram and on YouTube right now, and we're going to be talking about some astrology. We're going to be talking about some tarot. We're going to talk about channeling and all the kind of weird shit that's in between, like the spiritual versus scientific. But I want to introduce my good friend, Karma.
Hi, guys. I'm Karma Steele. Welcome.
Karma is a tarot master.
Oh, I don't know about master, but
yes, and she's also definitely deeply embedded in the Super Homie Squad with Maru Matu over at Sun Soul Astrology. So, what's up? What's up, Peace Dealer 2? How you guys doing? So we have ran into virtually every single possible communications and software and hardware issue that's known to man. Mercury retrograde at its finest, but you know what? That's okay. It's not deterring us. We're going to keep going. However, we didn't fully figure out how to pull out the charts here.
And that's okay, but we did have a wonderful learning curve and some things to unpack and figure out, which is going to be fine.
Right. Exactly.
So it's going to be fun regardless.
It has been fun. Definitely, you know, and that's sort of like real quick, talking about the energies right now. Mm-hmm. That's sort of what it's all about, you know, especially coming into this yard that we're going to be having. We'll explain that more in a minute. But, you know, it's like, why are we going to get frustrated with the shit that's going on in life? Let's just go with it and have fun with it and let it land imperfectly how it will, because everything's going to be imperfect anyways.
It's going to anyways. Oh, is that the arrow she was talking about on the bottom? So I'm Karma Steele, and my channel is, there's your arrow, Maru. Fucking.
Yeah.
So right, I'm Karma Steele, and my channel is Karma on Deck. And so I'm a psychic, and I channel, and I use tarot, and I'm a Reiki healer, and I do theta. I was also a career paramedic. Everything's all about the body for me. Yeah. But we were talking about the different approaches that we have with getting the same information.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What we're going to do tonight is the spiritual bodybuilder is going to let me do a tarot reading, and he's going to open my chart and unpack astrology for me, and I'm going to do a reading for him. But we're going to also discuss about how we come to the same information using different mechanisms and different tools. Yeah. And then we're going to just wow it out and shotgun it, like you said. Go for
While it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
So, can you guys see? You know what? Not sure if you guys can see this. Oh, I know you guys can't see it, but just, you know, follow along. You know,
use your imagination.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know a little bit about astrology. There's going to be a little more specific in advance because we're looking at her birth chart. Okay. And as we look at her birth chart, we're going to go into different aspects and sort of see the conclusions that we come to and how accurate they are, right? So right off the bat, this is you have a really intense chart, like super intense energy. You have Mars and the North Node in your 12th house.
Anybody that knows me knows I'm intense. Like I come in the room, Hurricane Karma. Like that's
Hurricane Karma. I like that.
For sure.
Let's see. You have your sun and at 18 degrees Capricorn.
So what are degrees?
So
now this is for my people, because my people are going to be watching this and go, what the hell are degrees? So I want you to teach me as we go, because I just barely learned my sun, moon, and rising like last week. And I'm livid. I'm furious. I'm like, it was that simple. And so for someone like me, I was born a psychic. I didn't study and approach and play with cards. I just kind of was born a psychic and a medium. And so for me, I always felt like a horoscope was a fortune cookie. Or like a little overgrown fortune cookie, or a Dear Abby, something that could apply to anyone. And so I heard people saying words during my lives. You know, Maru was like, get on YouTube. And I'm like, who am I going to read for? Like the wall? Like, I don't know. She said, just channel each sign and go for it, and it will work. And so I did. However, it's very difficult to say Sagittarius, Capricorn, or whatever words and not start picking up some terminology. So as I'm doing my lives and I'm hitting on something, somebody will go, Capricorn rising here, and I'm like, hey, I don't even know why. So when I learned those three things, it was like
a whole new world.
Alice in Wonderland. Wow. I'm like, oh my god. So
okay, so
I'm gonna ask questions like an idiot the whole way.
There's no such thing as an idiot question. Okay, trust me. I've been studying this for 6 years, and I still have a lot of questions. Maru stumps me every single time I talk to her. It's so crazy.
This is how I described astrology.
Okay,
learning it. It's like hieroglyphics, algebra, trigonometry, and Latin all at once.
Okay. Wow, that you make me feel really smart when you say that. So
I'm looking at you all ready to cry. I'm like 6 more years. I just started. Okay.
Well, but look at Maru. She started, and then 3 months later, boom, she's has like 16,000 followers on YouTube, and
yeah, but
she's
a whole other creature altogether.
True. But enough talking about Maru. I love you. I hope you have fun out there in Peru. Hey, that rhymed. But so degrees. Okay. So there are 12 houses in the zodiac, right? And each house has 30 degrees. Okay.
Why
now,
30? Is it just the angle itself we're talking about?
Yes, yeah. The 30 degrees makes up the geometry in order to make it a complete circle, right? So now those 30 degrees have numerological and astrological values. There's and of course there's inside degrees. I don't remember who wrote that book, but they're all about each degree has a significant like channeled kind of energy. Now that can be transited or it can be when you're born. And those have like two different meanings.
Somebody said 360 divided by 12.
Oh,
mathematical for 360 days.
Oh, look at that. See, I'm even learning something.
Your people will teach you.
Yeah,
they will keep you on point. Okay.
Right. So there's 30 degrees, and numerologically speaking, that's significant because when you break it down, each number represents like a multitude of things. There are so many levels that go.
So what do you look at first? So the first thing you go is I'm going to punch in her name, and boom. The first thing you gravitate to as an astrologer is
the sun, rising, and moon.
Just like I did. Okay, so
exactly because that is about 70% of the foundational energy of your being.
Okay, so everything else is detailed. So how I understood it, and I was explaining it to my noobs too, is sun is the date you were born. The day you were born is the sign you were born under for your birthday. Is that right? Is that how it would be?
Well, that's everything is there in that day.
Okay, never mind then.
So the sun is just where the sun was at that time, and then when you're born, this is basically like an imprint, the energetic imprint of your soul for what your soul is agreed to go through in this lifetime. Okay, and when we break it down, the sun is your soul, it's your spirit, right? It's the most fundamental energy in your body. The moon is your emotional body. So it's how you process emotions. Which you and I have the same moon, so we think like the same. Right? And then your rising is how you bring yourself out into the world. So it's more like your ego. How people see you. It can be your ego, or it can be what you desire out in the world. Okay. And then you combine that all with all this other fun stuff, and we have a party going on.
So karma's intense.
So
looking at this little chart. What about it tells you there's intensity? I just see all these lines and shit.
Well, the first thing that I notice is see this little K here? Chiron.
I got one.
So Chiron is conjunct your ascendant. Chiron is conjunct my ascendant.
Hey.
It is one of the most difficult aspects to have in astrology.
Of course.
Chiron conjunct the ascendant is basically your ascendant is what you want to come out to the world with, right?
Okay, copy that.
That's our deepest wound. So how people see us or how we feel and see ourselves, we usually have like really bad body dysmorphia. We get bullied when we're kids. I had a stutter when I was a teenager.
So would that even equate to like when you talk about trauma, would that be like childhood trauma with abuse?
Yes, really hardcore
poverty and stuff.
Hardcore bad, shitty childhood.
Bad. Yeah, yes. Okay, got it.
Yes.
That I understand.
Right?
That wound is deep.
Right. So now with that being conjunct your ascendant, and your ascendant is in Pisces.
So conjunct meaning?
Conjunct means that they're on top of each other. They're together. Now this is about a 6-degree orb, but in your natal chart, for this I would go with about 8 degrees. So do you know what an orb is?
No.
Okay, so an orb is say if you have an exact conjunction, they're at the same degree. Okay. An orb is orb of 1 is 1 degree. So basically an orb is a degree. Okay.
All righty.
So this is at about a 5-6 degree orb.
Okay.
All right. So see this right here? You have Mars right on top of your ascendant.
Okay.
Okay. In your 12th house.
Okay.
This is your north node. Your north node is in your 12th house. Your moon is in your 12th house.
Wow.
Okay.
So what does that mean when you say 12th house?
12th house is psychic abilities. It's your connection to divine. It's also hold on. It's also the house of addictions.
Okay.
It's the house of hidden enemies, like psych wards, prisons, or basically like dark entities, demons, things like that. So, but the thing here that's significant about that is all this energy in there, especially with the Chiron being conjunct to your ascendant, is that you've had to fight off some of the darkest stuff that anyone could possibly ever have to fight off. And that has brought out your gift, that has made you who you are.
I would agree.
Right?
I used to say, why me? I literally was like, why me?
I feel
like, fuck this. I can't even come out of a single phase. But I will tell you, that is now my power.
100%.
That is my power. Exactly. That is my square. That is where my 2 feet come and my shoulders are square.
Right. So now, so that basically forces you to master yourself.
Yes.
And once you master yourself, you have so much power, but you have this responsibility. You have this like knowledge and this knowing that, okay, I have to use this for good. You're basically like a live superhero. Okay.
I don't know about that. But
well, I just told you.
Okay, I'm a superhero.
Especially the super karma.
Hurricane karma, super karma.
Super karma. I love it. Especially with your moon in the 12th house, that's your emotional body. So you feel everybody's shit.
Oh my God, I feel everything.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And with your north node in the 12th house, your north node is your destiny.
Really?
In your 12th house.
So is that what north node means? Is destiny?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So if you were to describe what north node means to a noob, it would be
destiny.
Okay. So
yeah.
does it
just like right now,
is it a star or is it a place? Is it a?
It's a calculation on the moon.
Okay.
So there's a north node and a south node to every planet. Okay, but the one that we're talking about here, that's in your chart that everybody sort of talks about, is the nodes of the moon. Also, like Lilith. You know, there's 2 locations for Lilith, and they're both just calculations.
Okay. So I get that they're like calculations. So for me, I understand that all these symbols usually represent a planet or a meteor.
Planet, meteor, or calculation.
Position. Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I'm caught up.
All right.
I'll shut up.
Beautiful. So the north node in the 12th house conjunct, because it's only about a 1 degree orb from Mars. That's like this impulsive, hardcore, like I need to go bigger, better, faster, stronger than everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Into your psychicness, into that divine energy. So like at first, like back in the day, you probably like just hit your head against brick walls constantly. But once you learn, I don't have to bump into that wall. I can just go through it.
Or around or surrender.
Or around. Exactly. Yeah. It's like the wall is an illusion, is what you come to figure out. Then once that Mars energy, because with every planet, with every calculation, there's the shadow side and there's the light side, right?
Just like every tarot deck, there's
exactly. So when we're dealing with Mars is the warrior. Mars is the divine masculine.
The 3 warriors on my back.
There you go.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So you are that spiritual warrior.
I am.
Okay.
Okay. So far he's spot on, guys. And those of you that know me, I would say so. All right.
All right. So we have your sun here that's in the 11th house. And if you notice, if we split the chart from up and down, right? Up, this is like an extroverted personality. This is an introverted personality. So you're almost entirely extroverted.
Yeah,
right?
That's very, very true.
Okay. The sun in the 11th house, that's sort of right on the cusp, but that means that you are meant to just be out in front of a lot of people.
Really?
The 11th house represents large groups of people, like large organizations, social media, corporations, or different platforms, even like public speaking. You have a magnetism to you that will draw people towards you. It's just natural for you. And you have Mercury here, which is also retrograde in your 11th house, pretty close to conjunct your sun. So that's interesting. And let's see what degree that Mercury is at. 27 degrees. So that's a master number. 2 plus 7 is 9, right? So 9 is endings. All right. So you're completing a cycle, but it's in retrograde. So this is deeply internal. So for you, basically when a planet is retrograde, it means that your energy is internal. It's looking back at you in a much deeper level.
Yeah.
So whenever Mercury goes retrograde, it hits you twice as hard, but it's probably twice as good at 2.
It is absolutely powerhouse time for me right now. Yeah.
Especially with the eclipses going on.
Oh my God.
You're being Capricorn.
And my birthday, the eclipse was like the 7th of January. Like my birthday was the 9th, so it's almost 6 months or whatever. It's like clearly almost opposite.
So also your Chiron here is at 2 degrees, 41 minutes of Aries. So right now, the transiting Chiron is at 5 degrees in Aries.
Okay.
So you have been going through your Chiron return for the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
So okay, so any return, like Saturn return, Uranus doesn't really have a return, but there are certain aspects in the Chiron return is one of them, right?
Okay.
And that's basically like a shifting point, or when this energy comes back, the planet has gone all the way through your chart, and it's come back and says, "What have you learned?" Right?
Okay, I'm seeing that right now.
So it's making you look at yourself in your face and be like, where are you not being true to yourself? And the Chiron return is specifically a complete Kundalini awakening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So during this Mercury, every single lesson, every single person, every event. I mean, look at me moving to Miami in a couple weeks. Like everything is about, are you committed? Like when I was watching your video, like, are you committed? Right. And every single thing that I changed back then or decided then has come up. And it's not necessarily whether I'm keeping it or leaving it. It's more about what are you doing with it, and is it within alignment of what you want?
Maybe did you miss something before?
And what did you learn? Because the lesson is bigger now than ever before.
Exactly.
And everything is on the line. Not one thing, all of it.
Right.
Does that feel right? Because it feels
100%.
it feels like the weight of the world and the destiny is on every choice. Could change it all or bring it all.
Everything is massive, and here's why. Because so you're basically finishing up. Like I give returns like that a 2 degree orb. So it's going to be retrograding back to, I believe, 3 degrees. So you still have a little the tail end of it, but you've been through the majority of it.
Good.
Right? But right now, transiting is the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that's going to be happening next year. Okay. So this year, with the North and South node in Capricorn and Cancer, because your Sun is Capricorn, and with the Pluto and Saturn conjunction happening right after an eclipse in Capricorn again in December. You're basically like going through another Saturn return right on top of your Chiron return.
That's okay.
It's okay. It's massive. It's massive. So you are
another
just
peak. I'm good with it.
and it's interesting because the older we get, typically speaking, like the more crystallized we get in our DNA, but you're like doing the opposite. Like I can feel it in your energy. Your skills, your awareness, like it's lighting up. It's opening up, and that's rare. But it's because you have so much energy connected to the divine here. So you can expect, I would say, in the next year for your skills to just skyrocket.
They are right now, and I can't even imagine more. You know what I mean?
You're going to be a totally different person by this time next year.
I feel like I was a totally different person between January and now.
Okay.
Like I don't even feel like the same individual at all.
Well, that's good, right?
Yeah,
it's good.
I'm glad to leave her behind.
Okay.
This is so much better.
You explain charts like this in your personal readings. I do. Yes, I explain whatever it is that you need to know. In the direction that you're going. So I'm happy to explain all this stuff.
You want to pop your comments really quick?
Yeah, let's pop the comments. Wow. What's up, comments?
She said horse stance. That's Esther with her horse stance. I told her to come from that place. So, hi
what's
guys.
up, Esther? How you doing?
Are you guys good with us talking this out? Because I'm going to do the same thing to him in a minute with the tarot reading. So, and are you guys able to see the chart when he shares it, or are you just seeing us yammer still? Because I'm good with either way. We just want to know. So here's the thing. I'm excited to be able to ask these questions, not just for me being greedy and I want to know. And this is like my cliff notes.
Of course.
My bodybuilder notes for when I go and do study. I know I'm going to be able to remember this because when I watch Maru,
this is all common sense.
Okay, so Maru's saying no chart is up. That's okay. We don't care. We're going to talk about it. But now we know for next time.
All right.
The 2 tech cards are coming up.
Thank you, Maru. Appreciate that.
We tried that with the chart, but we had
Mercury had other plans for us, so we're just going with it. But next time we get on here,
we sat here for an hour, so you get us or you don't. That's it. So we're just gonna play with it. But anyways, the reason why that I feel like this is so important is because as we come to the same information, we were just talking about we're both having signs of ascension.
Oh yeah.
And we're both having the symptoms of it, and we're both going through these changes and our approach is entirely different and we're getting the same results.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to show you. So my camp is over here going, tarot and magic and spirit and channeling and prayer and Yoruba and ritual.
Right.
And you're like science and math and numbers and watch, look, see.
Yeah, it
works. And so for my
then,
tribe to be able to come on here and hear these same questions that I'm asking, they're like, please teach me. So, and then we're going to play with the other side in a minute. But I want to hear what else. Where would you go to next?
Well,
we don't want to go super complicated. We just want to hit cliff notes for those so these guys don't get bored with hearing about karma all night.
Of course. Okay, so next thing I notice here in your 7th house, you have Pluto and Uranus. That's very intense, and that's in your section of significant relationships.
Okay.
Like marriage partner, business partners, things like that.
Okay.
Pluto, that's the sign of, or that's a planet of death and transformation, right? Okay. So, and then Uranus being pretty close. I mean, these two are powerful energies, so I'd say they're probably connecting with each other a little bit.
So when you say powerful energies, you're talking about the planet itself or the position in the chart? Just
Both.
Tell me which one you're referring to.
Both.
Okay.
Okay, this is a powerful planet in this location. It's powerful in reference to your significant relationships, meaning that with the energy of Uranus too, there's a lot of death and transformation energy going on, particularly right now because Pluto is very, very strong in the charts, transiting right now. Okay. So this could mean that in the last maybe year or two, you have completely redefined your idea or understanding of what you want in relationships, who you want to be with, what, like if you're in a relationship, like you're just, I can't do this anymore. Like I need something else. Maybe you don't know what it is, but you're going to figure it out. Yeah. Right. And with the Uranus energy, you feel trapped.
I do.
If you're in a situation and like you can't communicate yourself really, you can't 100% be yourself, even if you can be yourself, there's probably going to be more parts of you deep down within that are coming up. They're like, no, it needs a change. No, and it's like, fuck, this is never ending.
Yeah.
So
but it never really is. I mean, as much as we go through until we take that breath and cross over,
right?
It's not going to change. Right. And even then, we're signing up for something new.
You're right. Like, so I have Uranus in my 7th house too.
Okay.
Which is fucking
it is kind of nuts,
right? So I've had a lot of very intense learned lessons in my life from relationships.
So do you kind of feel like as we have that together, do you kind of feel like it's like, well, even and after you learn it, you go, why did I have to bang my head against the wall 10 times? I could have just like picked it up. Or there was that lesson that was super easy, but I had to make it hard for me.
Of course.
I mean, I had to make it so hard. No, I mean, unless I cut a vein.
Because we really need to get it the hard way. That's like Chiron in a conjunct the ascendant is learning shit the hard way.
Okay.
All right.
Do we get a moment where we decide that it doesn't have to be hard, or are we going to do this forever?
We do.
Okay, good.
We do, but that's only when we finally, really, truly, at our deepest core, learn how to surrender. And that Chiron energy.
All this is Maru and I were watching. I was watching Maru, not like she was there, but she was there. But I was watching her, and she was talking about that whole surrender when she had the kings and she was flipping them when you were on.
Yeah. Okay.
And she said the king reverse. She goes, it just means surrender. I'm like, bitch, we can't do that. Capricorns do not.
Right. Yeah. Especially Capricorn with a Chiron conjunct the ascendant right at the end of Pisces. See, that's the interesting thing because one side of Pisces is all about surrender. It's about oneness.
Yeah.
Right. But the other side is about excessive. Yeah. So it's almost like you get to pass through that pendulum 36,000 times. And then finally you get it right and you get it, you can go. But then you have to do that with every little thing.
I do, because like it took me forever to really decide to be a paramedic. And then when I did, I was a beast at it. I was like, I was a field training officer, EMS instructor. I was disaster response.
Commitment. Yeah. Commitment to yourself. Yeah. And when you but here's the thing with all this energy here, it's like, okay, you have commitment to yourself, but there's so much distraction everywhere. And it's like, and then it's so easy to get sidetracked from the distraction. It can be good distraction or it can be bad distraction. Okay, got it. And we create the good and badness from it. I'd say more like effective or ineffective is a more efficient way of saying it.
Okay.
Right. But this is where, again, when we learn how to just chill the F out and just be nice and easy and surrender to it, things will come so much easier. Now
it's like holding a fistful of sand. It actually stays longer when you just lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Squeeze the shit out of it. I like
that analogy.
You know?
Absolutely. Astrology is in tarot cards. No, well, astrology Yeah.
We just had that.
They're both intertwined together. They're two separate identities, but
from what I was told by the guru,
okay,
was that to learn the Thoth deck, because within the cards there are the planetary conjunctions, all the houses, and so the card itself. So from what I understand and what I was told is tarot is a byproduct of astrology.
Yes.
So if I can work backward here and reverse engineer astrology, I'm going to study the shit out of it.
There you go.
And then I'll come back to you next week.
Okay. And then you can get the human design. We can go even another layer deeper. All right. So we have Jupiter in the 8th house.
So what's Jupiter do for me?
So Jupiter is an expansive energy. It's about just getting out. That's where you're going to have a lot of luck, I would say, and a lot of good things happen. Like I have Jupiter in Leo, and so very athletic.
I haven't had good luck.
Okay, well this has to do with psychic abilities.
Okay.
One, subconscious mind, digging deep, going deep into the subconscious mind. And it's in Scorpio.
So what is this blue line?
That means that it's in opposition to Saturn. So Judo being in opposition to Saturn, that's like these two energies are not feeling each other. They're kind of pissed off at each other.
Okay.
And so that going from your 2nd to your 8th house, and it's right on the cusp. So this still sort of has to do a little bit with your identity and your identity to other people, but it also merges into your self-confidence, your self-esteem. All right, that's the 2nd house, and this has to do with your self-confidence, self-esteem, and the money you make from the place of your self-confidence and self-esteem. Okay, that's Saturn. Saturn means that you're going to learn everything the hard way.
Okay.
And you're going to become a master. You have a lot of mastery, and that's what I'm saying. This is so intense. You have a lot of mastery energy in here.
Okay, so what does all these gaps mean over here? This whole half of
this means that this is more transient energy. So there's no real lessons in your soul that you need to learn in these houses. Okay, or they're just sort of not quite as important. I don't want to say important.
They're necessary now. Or something?
There are no necessary specific lessons to learn in here. So a lot of your lessons. I kind of feel like I'm missing something.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, that means it's a little bit imbalanced.
Yeah.
Right. So you have natural tendencies to sort of just go out there, to be extroverted, to just get it done.
Absolutely, just like the promoter and
right. So that's probably why you have such a difficult time in relationships, because as soon as it comes down, because we can put somebody else's chart on top of here. Somebody with this full down here would balance you out, but it'd probably make you feel like your skin's going to crawl off. But you have to embrace that if you want to be able to find the balance.
It's all about balance.
Exactly.
Okay. I was worried about that.
So, but here we see Jupiter. So Jupiter is the 8th house of Scorpio. So basically you have the same as I do, where most of the houses are in their home signs, which makes this energy, again, on another level, intense.
Good, bad, or indifferent. If the houses are in where they belong. Whatever you said.
That just suggests that it's the energy of the signs and the houses are working together.
Awesome.
Right? So it can be good or bad.
Fair enough.
Because
I get it.
This just makes it stronger, so that if you're out of balance, you're going to go way the fuck out of balance. But if you're in balance, you're going to be big. Right?
That's okay. I mean, you go out with a bang, it's all right.
Exactly. So now Jupiter being in the 8th house, this can also have to do with inheritance, with taxes, with other people's money. So if you learn how to, which I'm sure you have by now, learn how to work with the Jupiter and Saturn energy, this can actually be really beneficial for business. Okay. And this is going to be a spiritual business, because your Jupiter is also, what is that? I don't know what aspect that is. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is different. No. I believe that's a trine over to Mars.
I'm hearing trine in my head before you said anything.
Okay. Yeah, I use different software, so working with what I got. You have the MC right on the border of your 9th and 10th house, so that's going to be you love to learn. It's not super strong, but you absolutely enjoy. Oh, you know what I just noticed here too? Neptune is right on the cusp of your 8th and 9th house. You actually have Jupiter and Neptune in your 8th house.
So Neptune
is the ruler of Pisces. And so that's another water sign, okay, which is a compatible energy.
See, now that's crazy, because all this time I thought Capricorn Earth, I didn't identify with it. And now that I'm seeing all of this water energy in different placements, it's showing me where I love to come to ground, so to speak, more, because I love the rain, I love ozone, I love the water, I love green.
Well, I mean, your ascendant's in Pisces, so I mean, you have some pretty strong water placements here. You have Jupiter is fire, right? So fire and water make steam. So the 8th house is also the house of like sexual taboo, like those deep, dark sexual desires that you don't want anybody to know about, right? BDSM kind of shit, or if you like that alternative kind of lifestyle stuff, whatever. And with Jupiter and Neptune also being there, so this is like you be having like some astral sex, or like doing some crazy lucid dreaming, or hey,
I'm not telling, but we're gonna say you're pretty spot on so far.
All right, hell yeah.
I want you to click the comments, because I'm pretty sure some of my people have made a comment. Mastered in you in other lives. She's laughing at me. Look, okay, so I just wanted to see.
Okay. So then we also have Venus here in the 10th house. I mean, Venus in the 10th house is absolutely beautiful. That's you. So what does 10th house mean? The 10th house is your life purpose, is your career. Okay. Venus is your divine feminine.
Oh, I am so divine.
It's also it's also about your how you approach love, how you approach your money, right? You have a very loving, nurturing approach to your life purpose, but really your life purpose is all about the 8th and 12th house. You're just
8th house and 12th house being my destiny. And 8th house being
8th house and your 8th house and your 12th house is where I'm feeling your strongest energies are at, and those are both psychic houses. They're both unconscious, subconscious mind. They're both very tippable as far as balance is concerned. But once you find that spot that just feels right, boom.
Okay, because I'm feeling that little meniscus.
The little meniscus,
we were talking about the space between of surrender and fighting. I mean, there's things that I will fight for, absolutely, and will every time. Right. And then there's other where a lot of my followers will say, or will hear me say that we can both get pushed into the river at the same time, and you can scream all you want, and you can kick, and you can scream help, and go crazy, or you can float, because you're going to end up down the river anyway. You know what I mean? And now we're both going to scream whole shit on the way down.
Right.
But how you land in that water and where you go with it afterward, it's not conflict that's the problem. It's how you handle it, right? 100%. So having this whole thing happening and finding that balance, because you can do both. You can freak out for a minute and then go, okay, well, paramedic. Yeah. Matrix. Yeah. Like, as soon as it gets crazy, I get zen.
You used to be a paramedic. I used to be an EOD tech in the military.
Yeah. So
I was a first responder as well.
Yeah. Well, so it's like that. I always tell people that when shit gets crazy, it's like the Matrix. It gets really zen for me. And I'm like, nope, I got to figure this out. So let's see what else we got here. Your Pluto is also retrograde. And at 27 degrees. They're both at 27 degrees. Mercury's 27 degrees and Pluto's 20. Is that significant?
Well, that's
you said that's a number.
Well, yeah, that's in Virgo. That's a Capricorn. 27 is a master number, and 2 + 7 is 9. So that basically means that, like, as far as past lives are concerned, you're at your last life lesson when it comes to the
so that's Plutonian like getting energy. A good grade in 1 of 2 of 12. Well, I got an A in those two. But everything else is just.
But then look at this. So 0 degrees is probably the most potent master number. That's like the number of the divine. It's the void. Okay. It's like 0 point.
So my Neptune is in Sagittarius.
Neptune at 0 degrees of Sagittarius.
Okay, 0 degrees of Sagittarius. Right? Okay.
In your 8th house.
Okay.
So 0 degrees in your 8th house. That's just each of these is just a deeper plunge into the excavation of your soul. You have massive amounts of just powerful energy, but it's like responsible powerful. And you had to go through a massive amount of shit to be able to learn the lessons that your soul wanted you to learn.
Well, what's true is if anybody's knows me at all, they know how it's been. I mean, everything from crazy childhood to abusive exes, right? Like almost died kinds.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but you're still here.
But now I'm an advocate for that, so I wouldn't have had that power to come from if I had been there. So when someone comes to me and says, "I don't know how to do this," and I'm like, "I will have the courage for you because I will show you."
Exactly.
and we will find it together.
Right.
So anything else you want to add to this before I unpack on you and answer some questions too?
Mars is debilitated.
So debilitated meaning?
Meaning that it doesn't function very well in Pisces, you know, because Mars rules Aries, right? Aries
Yes.
that go get it, you know, hardcore fire, you know. So Mars, when it gets this sort of makes mud, right? So it's like it's not quite clear. It's not as strong as it would be.
So if you were to say Mars and Pisces in a sentence, besides just a moon and a plate, like two different. You have one zodiac sign and a planet. So for me, you were to say Mars and Pisces, and I know nothing. What would that mean to you in a sentence?
I'm getting a visual. Do you remember the movie The Never Ending Story?
Yes.
Okay, you know when he's sinking in the quicksand, he's yelling for Valcor. Yeah. So that's sort of Mars and Pisces. But then let's see, we have I would say probably Pluto at 27 degrees retrograde would be your Valcor coming to pull you out. That's the transformation, the rebirth energy that's coming to save you from this Mars energy.
Okay.
And now, you know, like everybody has at least, you know, like one or two weaker aspects in their chart. So really, like, it's not necessarily a weak aspect.
You have to be balanced. You can't just have.
Yeah, of course. But
super.
But with that, that also means that your divine feminine is stronger within you, which is a good thing. Oh, and it's actually sextile over here to your Mars. No, I'm sorry. That's your sun is sextile over your Mars. So that's actually like, so your sun is actually Valcor coming to pick you up.
Copy that.
Right?
So see, this isn't easy. So sometimes when I pull cards, they don't make sense. And I'll be like, hold on, why does this not make sense? But,
right.
So.
Do you have any specific questions?
My God, no. I'm looking at all these pictures and images and I'm starting to see dots.
Okay.
So
yeah,
do you guys, so this is fun because for my people, they'll get an opportunity to see what it's like to get I call it unpacked. Like you get your shit unpacked. Like here's your luggage and we're gonna take out, this is your kink karma.
Yeah.
Here's your kink for all the world to see. Oh, you got kink.
You ain't
You're that over
nothing.
here. Right? So if you were to tell me that you were gonna sit down and do a chart on me and that you were able to tell me some of those things, I would have not believed it.
Really?
So, no, absolutely. Now I do. Now I knew to expect it. But had you told me 6 months ago, I would have been like, it's all going to be bullshit. Yeah. Seriously, I would have thought that. So how are we doing, guys? Are we sideways or are we normal?
Yeah. Can you guys see us up and down, or are we left?
Or are we crooked? I can't.
Yeah.
We're
working what we got here.
Straight outed you with the kink. Yes. But here's what's true. So as you were can I share with you how accurate you were on a few things?
Bring it on.
So for those of you that know me, I have zero filter. So when you talk about being out there and exposed and talking to people, I absolutely will talk about anything and everything.
That's also a Chiron.
Yeah. So
I do the same thing.
As far as the outed thing, we are crooked.
We are crooked.
We're right outside. Thanks, guys. We appreciate not wanting me to say anything. Maybe they did wrong.
Yeah.
So let's see. There was the other thing that you talked about. So over here we talked about. So I'm bisexual.
Good for you.
And well, it's not a choice really, but so it is good for me. They call me the green bitch, and it's okay.
More options, you can have more fun. It's never wrong.
Well, and so here's the other interesting thing. So about 10 years ago, through a little series of events, I started working for a swing lifestyle company as a medic and traveling. So I go to Naughty in New Orleans. I go on swing cruise takeovers, right? So and the nudist thing. So I may not be all the way out there, but I've definitely been involved in that. However, due to the past stuff with the trauma and whatever, it took me till I was 40 something for that to come out because the childhood trauma thing.
Right.
So the childhood trauma, no details needed because story time is well over with that.
Yeah.
We've already come into our power with it, but we're talking childhood abuse and marriages with abuse. Like we're talking the movie Sleeping with the Enemy. It was like get out. Damn. So so far as the Chiron goes with the wounded child stuff, that's there.
Yeah.
And then The psychic thing is there. Obviously, karma on deck, the medium thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I channel, I see images and dots, and I smell things now and whatever. But that's all changing. So here, when you're talking about my Chiron coming full, you are absolutely correct, because now everything that's happening with me during Mercury retrograde is all about the decisions and consequences. Is there anything about consequences in there right now? Because I am not just seeing consequences of making a mistake, but the actual end result of my decisions showing up in my face and going, are you sure this is what you want?
Well, that's sort of the whole theme of the return aspect.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So that was pretty accurate right there, because I am literally looking at one single thing could change it all.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm holding on to the roller coaster right now, because I'm like, no. I put this in motion.
So, but that not only for you is that, but that's also the Saturn Pluto conjunction coming up next year. Because I'm feeling that energy too.
Can we share this as a thingy in the links for them? Yeah. Watch.
I don't know. Let's find out.
We're gonna do a thing for you guys.
Yes, they do.
Hold on. Okay, here's the chart that you guys now can click on and look.
Yeah,
there's a workaround for everything, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We got this. So this is astrocharts.com and then the chart. So you now can look at it and see what we're looking at. So there's a workaround. I will play with everything. So there was a couple other things that you talked about, but also me being I have never been an introvert a day in my life. I moved around. I never stayed in the same school longer than 6 months. I never stayed in a home for very long. I used to think nobody wanted me, but I think now looking back in a healed place, I look at it in this whole and beautiful space of all those people trying to rescue me.
Yeah.
All those years, my aunts, my uncles, my grandfather, friends of the family.
Right.
I had so much love around me and I just couldn't see it, right?
Yeah.
But
I never how to receive or accept it.
No, I didn't. I didn't understand what was happening most of the time. Anyway, I was all in survival mode.
Yeah, exactly.
But you saying, you know, me being an extrovert, I never met a stranger. Like never, ever. Everybody's my friend. And even like people on my channel to be like, I feel like I just stepped into your living room and we're having a conversation. So
that's awesome.
I never would have imagined until now, the placement I'm at now, where I'm at my development and stuff, that I would be a public speaker. But now I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But then again, EMS instructor, FEMA disaster response team leader. I was already a field training officer. So that's still in the front, and paramedic being in front. So, but the Pisces, Capricorn, and Aquarius all fit me perfectly too. And I do, here's what's crazy too. When you talk about my destiny, I keep having these crazy dreams where something inside my head keeps going, this is it. This is it. This is
Absolutely.
it. And it's always a new this, but it's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is it. This comes too. This
it's
comes
almost
too.
It's almost like we've been through multiple of the same experience, just over and over and over again from different places, learning different things about it. And finally, it's all coming together and all the dots are connecting. And now we're seeing the real big picture. Like we're zooming out. We're seeing it for what it really is now.
I will tell you as a noob, though, that I was really bothered that all this space was empty. I was like, I'm broken.
my chart doesn't look too dissimilar to yours.
Okay, so this is my idea here. So karma says that if I were to pay for this, I would pay for that. If I were to look back now and go, yeah, okay, I would pay for that. Now that I know what it is,
yeah, right.
So it would be worth it. So are you ready to trade?
Let's do it. All right, yeah.
So here, open my new deck. I have a brand new deck.
Okay. And how apropos, a dragon tarot, and I got a big ass dragon tattoo on my back.
Me too. I got 2 or 3 of them. Okay, so I am gonna play with you just like you played with me. However, I'm gonna. There we go. The coconut oil. All right, so I'm gonna tell you what I see and when I see it, how I play with it, just like you kind of did for me. And I got this new deck today. I actually ordered both new decks and only one came.
Surprisingly difficult to open up.
And this is just because this deck got opened, so there's going to be no tricks. No tricks.
All right, bring it on.
So here's the description and a little booklet.
Okay.
So have you had a tarot reading before?
I have.
Okay. Was it accurate? Would you go again?
Oh, it depends on the reader.
Your reading that you got from that other person, would you go again?
Well, I've had many done, so sometimes yes, sometimes no.
All right. Well, then this isn't new to you.
Well, no, but
you haven't had me do it.
Right, yeah, exactly. So this is Like you've had other people do your astrology for you, right?
No. Maru has looked at mine, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but she'll throw little gems at me all the time, like little bombs.
Of course.
Boom, that's your Mercury retrograde karma.
Right.
I'm like, oh, no wonder. And she just like drops bombs all the fucking time.
Well,
She's
now
just
you
like,
know. Now you know why.
that's, we'll be chilling and chatting, and she'll be like, well, that's because blah, blah, blah. There goes the Greek. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, now you understand a
But
little more
don't
about
think
Greek.
that I don't write that shit down and look it up like, okay.
Right? Go back over it, make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
How you guys doing over here
Okay,
on IG?
so-
The chart.
For the astrologer people out there, this is how I do it. So I shuffle a little bit, and I just do the Celtic cross. So let's see where you sit.
Okay.
So I just,
Do
so
you
for me.
want any information from me?
No, we're good.
No? Okay.
So when I do, so as we're talking about processes, she says, no, now you care. She's like, I don't care. Yes, I do. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
right.
See, I had to learn the hard way, Maru.
Yeah, we tend to do that.
Well, actually, it's not that she talks astrology. We just happen to do readings, and then we end up taking 2 hours to get through it.
Well, it's more just like how we communicate, like, this stuff happened that day. Oh yeah, well, this transit was going on, and that's why I went. That's just how we talk. It's just astrologer lingo.
This really is fun. So here's what I have learned when I do readings. So I'm an NLP practitioner, and NLP is the mapping of the brain, kind of, and your language style and how you process information.
Yep.
So when you process information, each one of us has a what we call an internal representation system. You heard of that before?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's either visual, auditory, or kinetic, or combinations thereof.
Yeah.
So when I took my NLP, I got wise and thought that I was going to use both, right? Because they're tools, and I thought I was going to use NLP and look you in the face and see how you look and how you sit.
Right.
Totally different processes. And I messed myself up like 2 or 3 times because I was trying to be outwardly focused, but the work that I do is completely. You remember those popcorn things with the tinfoil we had as kids?
Yeah.
So I just have to shake it up and let the popcorn come to the surface. I cannot.
Okay.
So when people come into me and they go,
Which
do you
is a form of
remember?
surrender.
Exactly. So people come into and they go, well, I have a question. Do you want to hear the update? I'm like, no. I don't want to hear anything. And if I see a picture, I make up a judgment. And I'm not talking about the individual. He looks tired. He looks happy. He needs a haircut. Whatever judgment that pops up for me will take away from the reading. So I just go, no, come on in and sit down. And so I learned that any attention that I pay to something in the 3D kind of takes away from it. So I like to just kind of zone out. And if you guys notice when I do my readings, if you have 2 or 3 questions in a row, I will tell a silly story and I'll be like, okay, while I shuffle, I'll just say something like, so it was kind of hot today, or did you get the rain where you were, or whatever, anything to disconnect from that prior idea, because I have to be totally blank. And it's usually for people that get my readings, they'll know the thing that when I tilt my head to the side and just say something random, that's usually the thing that's going to pop.
Okay.
So for me, I learned that it has to be the exact opposite of paying attention.
Right.
So if this makes any sense, I have to pay attention to what I'm not paying attention to.
That's a great way to describe like our need to figure things out and control.
Right. So,
And the process of letting it go.
Ooh, hi. Can you feel that energy shift?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah,
What the hell was that? I feel like the AC just went on.
I do too, but it did
Wow.
not. So, so the energy just shifted. So
okay.
That's when I start to read. So as I shuffle and I chat for a second and I start to come undone, that's the energy in the space that I come from. And you responded to that instantly. It was like before even. Okay, so here we go.
Nice.
So say your first name for me, sir.
Nahum.
Damn, what?
Nahum.
All right. So this is you, and this is your obstacle or project, recent past, distant past, goal, future, how people see you. So this would be your position of ascending.
Yeah.
How you see yourself. So that would be your moon. I just learned something trick.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is your rising and moon, and this is your secret card. I always call it your secret wish.
That's your 8th house.
Oh, see, I'm learning so much shit here.
Yeah.
We're gonna rewind it. See, they can feel it too.
Wow.
So, all right, and this is your end result card. So your secret
Right.
can be the position that is either something you fear or wish for.
Oh.
But as we unpack the first card for you, I have the sun card. We're not going to talk any astrology on this, guys. I'm just going to do a normal reading, okay? All right, so the sun card is at the center for you. And so that tells me that there is big completion coming for you as well. And no shit, we just heard half of your sign with mine because a lot of our similarities are going on.
Right.
But the sun card, with the way that I'm looking at this, is all about balance. and I'm not saying anything about astrology, but I'm doing how I would normally do it.
Of
But
course,
within this
just go.
one,
Just go.
I've got the yin and the yang in there, and I've got some knowledge back there, my little Celtic Stonehenge, and I have all the zodiac signs. And it's coming together, all this fire. So that's the dead center of things coming into balance for you, okay?
Okay.
So the obstacle for you right now has been isolation. Now, we're not talking about you being isolated in your workplace or whatever, but this is solitude. This is you taking space and listening to no one else's counsel, because you know that these decisions and consequences come directly from your own choices. I always say you can't, what should I do, Karma? I'm not shitting on you. You have to pay the ultimate consequences for every decision that you make.
Yeah.
So you feeling a little bit isolated is concern, because you're thinking that this next step or what's going on with you. And so as I go along, I'll pull another card. Somebody lied to you. So we have the devil card here. And so far, the first thing that pops up to me is out of the 3 cards that I pulled, they're all major cards. So you have some major energy shifting under the current. I'm feeling like everything's a pane of glass for you right now. And there's currents, riptides going on underneath, and you feel like they're going to get yanked any second. Okay. And then we have the King of Swords, which is all about victory. So King of Swords is also a high level card. So 4 out of 4. So the King of Swords, I always say it's like winning the war, but you've got to win the peace now. So that's like, okay, we bombed a country. Now we have to go make a new government. We have to clean up. We have to figure out establish order. Yeah. So even though you get a piece of paper saying that you won,
right,
this now means work to do still. But it's not a bad thing. It's still a little victory that you can take. Okay. A little bit of money is involved. You've got crabs nipping at your feet. The 8 of Coins telling me that you're dancing kind of carefully, paying attention to every word that you're saying, paying attention to every detail, paying attention to little pennies. I'm seeing nickel and diming you. Is there like money hemorrhaging out your pockets right now? I feel like you're like snatching the pockets and tying knots in the whole, going, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't feel like it's affecting your overall financial standpoint, but it does feel like you're aware of where these little pieces are going. And you're like, no. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Ace of Coins is behind you. It's not telling me much about that, so we'll come back to it. King of Wands, that's another king. So you have every single one of your cards is a king or above. So that's telling me this is heavy movement. So Ace of Coins, big money was in your past somehow.
I just got a, what do you call it? Family.
Inheritance.
Yeah, inheritance.
So this Ace of Coins means a chunk or more like just big money in your past there. So, but we have the King of Wands. So this is your goal. Your goal, King of Wands, wands is work. And he's sitting in front of his kingdom there. And what we have is his crown is about to settle. See how that's above his head? Uh-huh. See, guys? The crown is about to settle for us. And let me show you guys these as we go. Yeah, I'm about to rev up. She knows this. So this is him right here. And the crown is about to settle. So this is the card I was talking about being at his center. So this is beautiful. But we have the Hermit for his obstacle card. And this is all about isolation and gathering data. But he does have a light here. So what he needs to do is just find that center and your own light. Mm-hmm. But as the Devil card shows up here, someone had been telling you some lies. So in your moving forward card, based on the decisions that you're making right now where you're headed, because we know timelines can shift constantly, right? Yeah. So as we talk about those timelines, are you finding that they're going like this for you? Like I feel like a different person every Monday. I'm like, what's in the coffee today? Yeah, things are all over the place. Yeah. And every morning I wake up like, oh God, here we go again. Okay, so your goal card, where you're headed next. Okay, so we know that there's some moving parts going on with you now. And if you notice, when I look at my Celtic cross, I see this is your foundation and who you are. And it's amazing to see. This is beautiful. You have a very strong foundation. You know yourself. You can't have the sun card be fully in balance the way that it is showing up in your center without having that. Okay. So the first thing that I see is you have some really good things going for you. But moving forward, so as we have this, a little T there. And so as I do my regular reading, I throw cards out when it doesn't feel right. It feels like it needs more. Okay. So if you have the Hermit here and that adjective doesn't, if that like verb doesn't feel right, I need an adjective, I throw another card. And that's how I discovered someone lied to you. Okay. So that's how I play with it. And it's all instinct and just impulsive shit. Yeah, somebody told me I pulled too many cards and I said, well, am I accurate or not? Right. It wasn't even a person I read. It was just kind of like, somebody going, well, I gave you some advice.
That's Karma on Deck. You can look her up on Instagram. And we're also on YouTube here too. That's on my IG.
Yeah. All right. So I'll put my YouTube in here and then we're going to finish. So what I'm looking at this for you, the first thing that comes up is the Three of Wands. And the reason why I worry about the Three of Wands for you is that's criticism. So that's a lot of heat. That's a lot of people saying things to you that quite possibly could be harmful or judgmental. Mostly this feels to me like judgmental.
Well, yeah, you think.
So yeah, judgmental. So let's see how people see you. Well, you're making a lot of new connections, aren't you, right now? Those are collaborations going on. Ta-da!
Yeah.
So this is the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups always comes out where he's going to visit another island. So he's over here visiting at my place.
Yes, we are.
So this is him, okay? So you're making new friends. This is a collaboration. This has to do with business connects. So Cups is usually love, but this card right here feels like you're making new business connects.
Okay.
And then, so the thing that I'm worried about here with the Eight of Wands coming in the way that it is. So this is your ascending and this was your moon, right?
Yeah.
So your moon is telling me that you are really overwhelmed with how fast things are moving. Like you're trying to process emotions. And what's true is there is no processing emotions. Your analysis paralysis has you stuck in feelings. And what needs to happen is you need to let them flow. You need to let them ground through you, like we were doing that little energy loop.
Yeah.
So you're analyzing your feelings, and they're not meant to be analyzed.
Okay.
They're meant to be just water.
Yeah.
But what is going on with work that you're having feelings about work? Because this is your moon, and this is work. So that's something to think about.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, your fulfillment is there. Oh, I get it. So why are you tripping that things are moving too fast? You don't like not having control of how fast you're ascending.
No, I don't know what next step to take.
No, you just don't know what's next.
Right, you're right. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay. So based on what we talked about earlier, your biggest fear right now is being stuck. And the Hangman here is coming up in his fear, the section that talks about what he's afraid of. And this is purgatory. And that has to do with being separated from something or not being able to attain it, not moving forward, not moving back. So as you play with that, you have the 10 of Swords, which is pretty much overcommitment, being stuck, swords on every side. If you look at this is a cage. Now, literally, he's putting his head into the cage. Now, whether this be by choice, consequence, or decision-making, like this is also those times when you don't know how to say no. This is also times where, this is a mortgage or an obligation. I can't take that new job because I have to take care of this, or this is, just making commitments above and beyond what you can handle, or having them placed on you, or just consequences. And these are all, you don't feel like you can move left or right. You're restrained. Okay. Intention, Four of Swords. This is an actual deadline though. So for you, this feels like needle on the nose. This is pressure. This is right now.
Yeah.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. And you no matter what you do, you feel like you're going to get cut right now. There's a blade in the fist of this dragon right here, and there's a needle on the nose, right? And so as we're sitting here, the pressure is hitting from every side, and you're holding on for dear life to what you know you need to do. But as you're holding on to this, you got to stop being a martyr a little bit here. And I'm not saying martyr, but it's like you got to stop suffering or choosing to suffer, or more so beating yourself up about it. You're telling yourself over and over and over again, if I had just done this, or if I had just done that. And it's like shooting yourself is the worst thing you can do. And don't blame yourself, because this is just part of the journey, part of the path, right? You're studying something. Are you taking notes? Like, what is it you're studying? I see paperwork for you.
Well, paperwork could be most likely
contracts
in court
or contracts, and you're traveling. 6 of Cups. This is all in the same, but you see how for something, this is a bigger issue here. This is a huge issue. This is a pivotal issue, because you see, it wasn't the card itself. It was how driven I was to chase that answer. So the end result card for you, though, unfortunately, isn't an answer. And I think I told you this so he popped up in a conversation in Waves, and I'm like, oh shit, you've got a court coming up, or you have a big decision. And he's like, what? So this card came up again. So this is the 2 of Swords, which this has to do with 6 of one, half dozen of the other. What's funny is when I said that, I was looking at this other card, and I'm like, that's not the card for it, but I'm feeling it. And it showed up as your end result card, which happens often for me. But if you notice, if he's talking about court, he's got the scale in the middle and he's holding the swords by his hand and by his tail. So he's getting cut. He's not holding them by the hilt. No matter what answer comes right now, you feel like you're going to lose.
Yep.
Or you feel like,
feel.
or you kind of feel like, or you kind of feel like you have to let go of one thing in order to be cut by the other. And you don't feel like there's any benefit to either. Now, when I use this deck, this one plays patterns for me. And they behave differently and they feel differently. So this one I use for business, work, and decision making. Now, I'm going to play with the other deck and show you a totally different look.
My mind's already fucking blown.
It should be.
I'm like, wow.
So, and what we wanted to, we almost wanted to call this meniscus because with the space between science and spirit here. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Science and spirit. Wow. Look at that.
Ooh.
Did it end on you?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and get back into it here.
Yeah. Are you guys enjoying yourself? Okay,
this
so
is nuts, dude. Like I was getting emotional there for a few minutes. Like,
oh, this isn't even emotional yet. So that was all decision making and seriousness. So here's what's true. I think I almost cried a couple times during you fucking me up, but that's okay. It's your turn.
Yeah.
So here's what's true. We're coming, and this is what we wanted to illustrate to you guys. And the fun part of doing this together was that we wanted to show you that it's possible in all this diversity out there and all this fighting and people talking about how my camp, my tribe, my color, my religion, my place in the world, my America is so good and it's so right. But we're going to try and show you guys that you can get to the same place using different tools.
Exactly.
Right. And I know nothing about my NLP just corrected myself. I know very little about man, they're correcting me again. I cannot articulate yet astrology. However, I know it. Right. And so in knowing it, so when I do some readings with Maru, I saved her for last because what happens is I begin to channel. And sometimes when I'm done with her, I can literally see dots and numbers and those little stupid things that go above numbers that look like a degree. Because I told her, I said, I don't understand what I'm seeing. And now that I pulled up a chart and I saw one of the charts with the grids and shit and all the numbers and the degrees and the apostrophes in the wrong places, I'm like, oh my God, I saw that when I met her. And that's when she was like, well, here we go. I'm an astrologer. I'm like, well, then that's why I see dots all the time.
Yeah, right. So really what it comes down to is just channeling the energy. It's a different platform. It's like working out. You can have CrossFit or you can have bodybuilding or you can have yoga. So it all is giving you the result that you want to get to.
And also, like we were talking earlier, was that space between the two entities, right?
Yeah.
What did I say? Science and spirit, right? That space between the knowledge remains the same. Yeah. But that's also the divine masculine and the divine feminine. When you find that perfect balance is in, right?
Exactly.
So, all right. So let's play with this. So this deck, my Mystic Dreamer, and the first one was my Dragon Tarot. So
it has a very magic-y feel to it.
Well, I am magical, so my touch is magical. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so my Mystic Dreamer here. Okay, so this deck, beloved to me, talks about emotions. So I could just spread it out, or do you have a question, or do you want me to just go?
Just go.
Okay, I like those better.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
meant to come through. It'll come through.
All right, so breathe. Did something just pinch you right there when I started telling you we were going to go there? I heard it. Don't lock up on me now. I felt you say, no, not ready. He wasn't ready.
Yeah, so a part of me did feel that.
I
but
did.
Then I just
felt
sort of
that.
brushed it aside.
Yeah, he just kind of went tight for a second there, and I was like, smack you on the back of the head. All right.
Yeah, I could. You're like deep down in there.
Yeah, I felt you. I felt you. It was a knee-jerk reaction. So, All right, here we go. Okay, so let me finish here. Do you have a tendency to be stubborn?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so the first thing, this one behaves very differently. The first deck that I do, I look at each position, how they play off of each other, and then the whole pattern as a whole. Like that last reading was all about majors and top high-level cards. But for you, right now, what I'm picking up is just, I'm going to do an inverted pyramid, and I look at it. So how wide open can I be? Can I say anything,
Bring
or
it on.
just like be
Let's-
confidential?
Yeah, I'm like you. It's all
Okay.
out in the open.
So the very first thing that comes up for you is the Five of Cups. And in this deck, it shows me that you have some regret. That you're having a really hard time enjoying these cups in front of you because there's some shit you got to handle behind you. But this is something that you've been working on, that you've come to again and again and again. So this is the Eight of Pentacles, repetition and redundancy. You're sitting here as the Hierophant, and the Seven of Cups is regret. But this is all for your greater good and strength. And it feels like someone owes you an apology. Okay, so this is a huge apology. We have the Four of Wands, which is commitment. There was someone that you were committed to, or should be, or would have been if things had been different. But they're sitting behind this wall of weapons, okay? And they're asking you for money.
Sounds like the
Or
baby
they're
mama.
requiring a baby mama drama. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a requirement of charity. So this individual is waiting for you to pay them. But behind all of this, there's this regret, and there's an apology that's owed. So this isn't on you.
Apology
And I
that she owes
also,
me.
yes, and I also feel like there another individual while you guys were dating?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
She started dating one of my friends 3 months into her.
Okay, so I'm seeing the Two of Pentacles, which is juggling two things, and the Seven of Swords right here is about being sneaky, taking something that doesn't belong to you. Two of Pentacles juggling two things, and not regret, but regret that she got caught. Okay, so as this was going on, we also have money in the Lovers card. So you two might possibly, well, now you're going to have to deal with each other for the rest of your life. That's why we have the Lovers card. So for me, the Lovers card is all about passive aggressive control. To me, in this deck, the Lovers card always plays with power struggle, who's right, who's wrong, on again, off again. There was never like a really solid state with this individual. You do feel like you have to put up boundaries with this person all the time, every time. There is no gap in the leash. You have to keep it completely tight. The choke chain has to be completely tight with this individual. Queen of Wands, she's telling me that it's all about money. Does she... I'm sorry. So I feel like this individual is watching you and waiting to play her card a little later, hoping you'll be worth more.
Yeah, she'll probably is watching this right now.
Okay, well, I don't care. So anyways, the Hangman is being in between. You really don't like this purgatory shit. You want an answer, and you want an answer now. I'm also seeing that, was there substance abuse involved at all?
No.
Or just lies?
Lots of lies.
Okay.
We did ayahuasca together once.
Okay, so the Devil card definitely represents dishonesty.
Yeah.
Have you been fatigued over this? Like you're so over it?
Well, yeah, she's not letting me be a father to my daughter.
Okay, so I wish you guys could see this. Maybe you can. The end result card is court.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is the end result card. This is the major card to the minor and this is something I wanted you guys to notice. Almost every time I do a reading and shift from one deck to the other, the end result card is a mirror or an exact card to the end result of the prior one. Do you remember what the prior one was? It was the Two of Swords.
Yeah.
Which is almost identical.
Yeah.
It's almost the same meaning as decision. So there's no way we could have done that on accident.
No.
But I will say this, though. I am feeling like there is great celebration coming for you because the Three of Cups is underlying all of these lies. Okay, so right here we have the Three of Cups. And I'm also feeling like she's eventually going to walk away from this struggle just because there is a routine for her somewhere. And I do feel like there's another individual in her life that is taking up space, which is much more productive for her in general. Yeah. Travel is in alignment for you. This is you, Independent and Emperor. And I like you as an Emperor. And then I have the Chariot. So look at here. So I pulled a side note. So my Emperor right here is traveling for a decision. And I can't. And so when
you can't make this shit up.
So when I look at these, I'm like, okay, I hate when they state the obvious. However, we're looking for an end result. So if they give us another decision card, it means it's kind of up in the air. Because as we know, the decisions, the end result is going on the decisions people are making right now. And timelines can shift, but as of right now, a decision is needing to be made.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, so do you not talk to her at all? Did she block you completely almost?
Yeah, we don't talk.
Okay, so I see no talking. Three of Swords, which is miscommunication. You're depressed about this. The one thing that bothers you the most is the inability to reach out. And I see that you're willing to take on whatever stewardship is required of you. The thing that I do see coming, though, that is hopeful is that I have the Three of Cups, which is celebration. And then I have the Six of Swords, which is things getting easier. and the Ace of Cups, which is abundance and joy. So if you can push through this, and you're all about stewardship, I feel you when I see the Ten of Swords, because I wouldn't even steal a grape from Walmart because that moral integrity would ride me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to me, it's all about stewardship and how well I can do for others. And the bottom line is whether I contributed or did right. And I think the bottom line here too is the Ten of Wands is all about your duty. You're willing to do whatever it will take. Yeah. That's never been in question, but she's just been sneaky.
Yeah. You hear that, Mercedes? I'm going to be a father to my child. I know you're watching. And you just saw here. Positive outcome, baby. I'm a good person.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to ask while I'm sitting here with these little cuties? Or do you want to start a breakout session now? You guys want to ask us any questions? Hop on here. So yeah, I'm Karma Steele. If you want to do a one-on-one with Karma, karmaondeck.com. Come find me on my YouTube and play with me, because my sessions are almost like this. We never know what direction they're going to take.
Yeah.
So I do like collaborating with the Divine Masculine, though. I don't like to play completely in spirit all the time. So it's very fun for me to play with science and math and male energy and kind of merge that a little bit.
That's good.
So once we figure out our electronics, when we get to Miami, we're going to do a little bit more of this. So are we good?
I appreciate it. Everybody's saying the universe has your back, and I all the support. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. This definitely means a lot. Thank you.
So what do you guys want to ask us while we hang out here?
Any questions over there in IG land? How about you, YouTube?
Did you guys have fun? I know you did. Or if you want to ask me any questions or him any questions, my people, or whatever. So that was awesome. We appreciate it. Is there anything else we need to know? It was fun. It was kind of off the cuff. It was yesterday. Hey, you want to collab? Yeah, I'll be right over.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? All right, jump on it.
It is really fun. So if do you want to do anything else, or what do you want to do? You want to hang out? What do you want to do?
I'm still sort of like,
so
that was
let's hear your assessment then. How you felt about what you saw, or accurate, not accurate?
I mean, I'm in the middle of 8 different directions with so many different possible answers that I don't even know how to calculate them all. And trying to make things work in California so that I can be there to see my daughter, and it's been a war.
Why did I hear southern states in my head when I was doing a reading? What's in the south for you? Do you have anything in Texas? North Carolina?
I was stationed in Texas.
Okay. I don't know. I'm hearing something about Texas for you. What's in Texas? But anyways, okay.
Oh. My friend Pedro is here from Texas right now.
Maybe Texas.
Who knows? But yeah, so I'm I haven't seen my daughter in 9 months. I'm getting real vulnerable here. I don't like talking about this on here, but it's important.
You know what? Can I say something to that?
Uh-huh.
There is absolute magic in that. I want to tell you, they don't want to see you working out. They want to see you dropping that weight on your foot and working out next week going, I got this. Wow. Like, the mistake isn't the problem.
I just don't want this crazy bitch taking this shit and using it in court against me.
So what did we say exactly? What did we say exactly? That the card said.
That's a good point.
We didn't call.
I am fighting for my right to be a father to my daughter.
And that shouldn't be something to be ashamed of. And what's true is we know that in our culture and in our country, there tends to be gender bias toward moms. Yeah. So it's got to be a really terrifying and vulnerable place for you to be coming to this and saying, like, this is what I'm trying to do. So I appreciate you being
at first when this was first like getting really bad, I reached out for help, but I realized when I was doing it, I was sort of in a place of more of a victim mentality because I didn't know what was going on. All I know is I just had this beautiful little baby girl, and she rocked my world, cracked my heart wide open, and I just fell so in love with her. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's taken away from me. And I didn't know how to deal with that. And I had to learn over time to do it in a healthy way. And I've learned how to do that. But now I'm in this system, in this process that is not NAM friendly. and I have this card stacked against me, but I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes. I just want to be a father to my little girl. And it's so sad that there's so many situations out there that are like this, where fathers just are held away for just stupid bullshit, little just just tick for tat kind of little kid stuff. It's like kids fighting on the playground. Like, why? But you see it in politics, you see it in this world, and unfortunately sometimes we get brought into these situations in life in order to help us grow and make us purge all this stuff that no longer serves us out. And I know that's done this for me, but I have my court case coming up, and I have to stand my ground. I have to speak my piece, and I have to let these guys know, no, all that crap that this person is talking to me is not true. I'm a good person. I'm not this animal, demon, this monster that she's claiming that I am. And I just have to be confident in that, And I had to see that within myself first, and now I do. And actually doing this work, being on YouTube and getting, and on Instagram, I'm learning how to use that as my power. Thank you, Michelle. So it's getting there. And
so here's what's true.
Well, what's true?
I didn't know my dad. And so I want to thank you for being that man to fight for her, because I know that there is a moment where you can go, fuck it. This is too hard. It's costing too much money. I'm traveling too much. I'm exhausted. But I will tell you, if I had ever felt that someone fought for me, which now I know that they did, we just talked about that. Right. If I had thought for once that he had fought for me, but keep fighting, because that little girl is going to wonder where you went your whole life. And we know that you're doing that, but I want to thank you for being that man, especially with the kind of culture that we have now, the hookup culture, the kind of games that people play now. And there's no responsibility with a lot of men. I commend you for that. And I thank you. If no one has, I do. Because you are the kind of example that gives me hope that it's possible for me to have that kind of power in my life, that kind of masculinity, that kind of love. Because love is a protective thing too. Oh, yeah. That divine masculine. I was talking to Esther yesterday, and I said, you need to come from the horse stance a little bit more in your womanhood. But I told her I was being surrounded by masculine energy right now. And I said, what's surprising is I thought it was going to be all aggressive, like suck it up. But to me, the masculine energy I've been experiencing has been loving and gentle, and it has me undone.
That's beautiful.
Because men are much more gentle than you would imagine when they're in their masculine energy.
Right. You have to get rid of all that toxic masculinity. But women do
thanks
too.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Getting real deep on here tonight. And thank you, all you guys, for tuning in and for watching this. This is like you said, it was right off the cuff, but this just goes to show, like, you really can get some magical information for people that, I mean, that's the most, like, it was like you were pulling my energy right out of me like that. Like, I could feel it in my body. That was the most intense tarot reading I ever had in my life.
I put everything in it. You just read my reading. I am intense. You just read my chart.
Yeah.
So you should have known.
Yeah. Well,
But did you notice? I noticed immediately when you resisted.
Yeah, you did.
Just like that. I was like, hey.
And it was just a small little.
It was a tiny little pink.
And you were like, nope.
No.
Get back here.
And so I even noticed when people cross their legs and lean back, I'm like, come back right over here, baby.
Right. Yeah.
Well, anyways, guys, I'm Karma. Thank you for allowing me to come hang out with you guys tonight. I appreciate you very much for that. It's been fun. I can say this is a well-spent evening. I appreciate
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it, everybody. And please go and subscribe to Karma on Deck on YouTube, and share, watch those videos. Let's all build that community and get the word out there. All right. Peace out, guys.